come together, heart and soul, as we love together. Young and old, we will sing together, together in one song. Come together, from different worlds we are drawn together. In our own way we can pray together. Together we are strong. Come together, dreams and hands we will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are home.
Gratitude is something we talk about a lot at Unity. We speak a lot about counting our blessings and being grateful for what we have. Myrtle wrote in her book, How to Let God Help You, thanksgiving and gratitude are qualities of the soul too little understood and exercised. Heaven and earth listen and respond to the soul that is quickened into praise and thanksgiving. Praise is gratitude in action. Powerful words those are. And you may have a gratitude practice, a journal, a gratitude partner, or a time of listing things that you are grateful for. But what do we do when we have days or periods of time when we struggle to find something or things to be grateful for? When life seems to have thrown us a curveball? I discovered an answer for myself in, of all places, a children's book. One of the blessings of being a parent, and you can do it anyway even if you're not a parent, is being able to read and perhaps reread children's books with a good reason. I mean, we're reading to our kids, right? But I learned early on that many a truth has been told at the hand of fiction. The children's book that taught me about gratitude during difficult times is called Time Stops for No Mouse by Michael Hoey. Hermuk's Tantamuk, a quite ingenious mouse, was given a journal by a blind and wise mouse friend in which to record his observations of the world. He had lost his ability to see beauty in the world, and she felt that by being her eyes and recording what he saw and then sharing that with her, he could rediscover his ability to see beauty in the world. Hermux quickly discovered that it was more in his nature to recount what he was grateful for than to describe beautiful things. And in this new practice, he discovered that some of the things that he became grateful for surprised him. Hermux discovered gratitude for both the things we would expect to be grateful for, friends, a safe place to rest his head, and lovely gifts and pleasurable experiences, and for the unexpected, mousetraps, rascals, skeptical and unhelpful policemen, for broken rules and gossipy postmice, scary news and snoopy reporters, and danger. Being grateful for the pleasurable stuff that we receive or that happens to us is wonderful and easy. But I'd like to add a vote for the preemptive thank you, for those times when you feel like you've been slapped by a wet fish, when every button in your body feels like it's been stomped on, when the very earth feels like it's crumbling under your feet, when you find yourself in the fire, having only just climbed out of the pot. Those are times for the preemptive thank you. This is the thank you that you don't really feel, the one you might even snarl out at the universe, or sob, or scream out, or whisper, or mumble obligatorily, or follow it with an expletive. But we do it anyway, because doing so kickstarts the remembering that the universe is for us. The preemptive thank you helps you to remember that we know that these are old beliefs holding us back from being our full, magnificent selves. I'm very familiar with this thank you. It has become a good friend. A long time ago, in a universe far, far away, when my stuff got lit up, I'd get angry at them, whoever they happened to be, and then get angry at myself for getting angry at them, and then I'd retreat, pull away, run, and hide. And then I'd sink down into a black funk, miserable at such a poor excuse for a human being that I was. You get the picture. Then I discovered the preemptive thank you. Thank you, because having all those buttons lit up let me know that the stuff was in there. The stuff buried deep, deep down that I didn't even know was there. And yet it was still chugging away, creating for me, and creating a smaller world than I wanted to live in. Thank you, I learned to say. Thank you for showing me where I still limit myself. Thank you. And then life would change. So when you feel like you're a big neon light and it's flashing all over your body and it's saying, hit me, kick me, push here, try starting with thank you. Thank you because now you see what's there. Thank you because you know that once you get to the other side of it, when the work is done, when we've slogged through the gunk, we are rewarded with that profound feeling of gratitude for the universe and everyone and everything in it. Thank you because we know that this something greater than us, that is individuating as us, is truly us and for us, despite appearances. We know on the other side there will be that other thank you, the one filled with freedom and love and joy, and maybe some relief. Will you close your eyes with me and sink into that space where we are one with the all that is? Know with me that this one infinite life, this infinite field of all possibility, is the fountainhead of all that is and all that is not. It is the fountainhead of me. It is the fountainhead of you. Know that being infinite and one, this life cannot be against itself, for there is nothing to be against, for it is all that is. Therefore, it cannot be against you, and it cannot be against me. Therefore, it is for us. Knowing this to be true, let us lean into gratitude when life appears to throw us a curveball. Let us lean into curiosity when our buttons are all lit up. Let us breathe into the discomfort. Let us lean into the love and wisdom that is God and listen for direction and solution that comes from that higher place. Let us lean into a willingness to loose our grip on that which no longer serves and open ourselves to something new. Today, I am grateful for the love of friends and family, for the challenges that are waking me up, for the knowing of this new thought teaching that speaks to a wisdom greater than the beliefs which limit me, to a love greater than I think I might be capable of, and for my willingness to listen and listen and listen again and be guided by that fountainhead which creates me always and in all ways. And so it is.
I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. Come together, dreams and hands we will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are home. got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. I feel a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but on the road to the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score. In a world that can bring pain, I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to dance. Whatever stone life may sling, we can moan or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful.
These are the times in which we live. Woo! Again, such a pleasure to welcome actual human beings in physical form to our sanctuary. Thank you for being here. Thank you for modeling such a deep and diligent caring one for the other. It is indeed, yet again and always, such a pleasure to bask in the nobility of your light. My name is Dr. Richard Loren Held. Always, it's a pleasure to welcome you to this unfolding, evolving experiment of good stuff we call Unity in Lynnwood. For those who have children, please note that youth and family ministries gatherings are available to you as well. If you would like credentials for next week's gatherings, simply contact that program's director. Her name is Stacy Bailey. We do enthusiastically encourage you to take advantage of the vehicles of support and connection which we have fashioned for you. Visit unityinlynnwood.org. You can meet your leaders, read blogs, enjoy archived podcasts. You may enlist prayer support, even download brochures. We invite you to engage with UIL on the social media platform of choice. Download the Unity in Lynnwood app. Again, it is free in both Android and Apple versions. We invite you to click on the Breeze link, especially if you are a member of Unity in Lynnwood. Click on the Breeze link. As a vehicle of connection with you, it will only increase in importance in upcoming days. The link is provided in your social media chat window. I know a number of you today received a text reminder of today's annual meeting. How cool was that? As always, if you'd like to stay in touch through periodic email messages and know we would never share or sell your information, again, click on the link provided in your social media chat window. We will happily include you. If you've been with us for a while, it's another great way simply to confirm that the information we have on file for you is up to date. Always, if you would like assistance with any or all of the above, that is not an inconvenience. That is a privilege. It's a privilege. We look forward to connecting with you. Give us a call, drop us a note. We would love to help. Practical spirituality, welcoming a community. Yet again, that mission statement, so short on words, 4 words, and yet so very broad in implication. Practical. Whew. You mean I can use it? Welcoming. You mean I'm welcome here? I belong here? What about X? What about Y? Yes. Welcoming. Welcoming community. Every week I like to support this with one of the values statements, one of the bullet points which we developed in conversation with your board of trustees beginning in late 2014. Today we offer the 5th of the 6. Take a deep breath with me yet again. Do these words, do they find a receptivity within you? It reads as follows: we actively seek and enthusiastically include truths from all great spiritual traditions. Boy, that works for me. That works for me. If you would like to pray with a prayer chaplain following today's service, a link will appear in your social media chat window. When you click on that link, you will be taken into a Zoom waiting room until such time as your chaplain welcomes you into a one-on-one time of prayer. Share a celebration with a prayer chaplain, please. Ask for support from a prayer chaplain, please. Always, if you would prefer to do so by telephone, simply send an email to prayer@unityinlynnwood.org. Right now, An anonymous call will come through upon the completion of today's service. The problem with a human incarnation is that it's believable. I mean, what our ears hear is believable. What our noses smell is believable. What our fingers touch is believable. What our tongues taste is believable. And certainly what our eyes see is believable. Especially what our eyes see is believable. And indeed, it's not that what our senses perceive is untrue. It's just that what our senses perceive isn't the only truth, much less the highest truth of you. So I might say that the problem with the human incarnation, the problem with a fleeting foray as a sensory being in a dualistic world, is that beginnings and endings become believable. The problem with a fleeting foray as a sensory being into a dualistic world is that boundaries and limitations become believable. And it's not that beginnings and endings, it's not that boundaries and limitations are untrue, it's just that they aren't the only truth, much less the highest truth of you. Is that good news for anyone this morning? Woo! It's one of my favorite stories from the Judeo-Christian tradition. It appears in all 4 of the Gospels. Now, because there are those among us who tend to nod politely when I say Gospels, not because they know what I'm referring to, but because they think they should know what I'm referring to. The Gospels are the 4 biblical accounts of the life and ministry of the Rabbi Yeshua. Now, I say they're the 4 biblical accounts of the life and ministry of the Rabbi Yeshua because there are non-biblical accounts. He's arguably referenced in secular and historical accounts as well, and I say they are the 4 biblical accounts of the life and ministry of the Rabbi Yeshua because he wasn't a Christian. He didn't start, invent, or even intend what the world would call the Christian tradition. He was an observant Jew, ministering within the context of his Jewish faith, often to a Jewish audience. You will recall that the word Christianity doesn't even appear in your Judeo-Christian Bible. And I say they are the 4 biblical accounts of the life and ministry of the Rabbi Yeshua because he never heard the name Jesus. What's he doing to me this morning? I can hear you. So you deserve to know that should he arise or descend or materialize in your neighborhood, as some of our more literal brothers and sisters would have us expect, to no small amount of concern on my part, by the way, should he arise or descend or materialize in your neighborhood, easily recognizable from the many paintings which imply a striking resemblance to Brad Pitt or Kevin Costner, of course, flowing blonde locks cascading over blue eyes to Caucasian shoulders. And should you impulsively shout, "Hey, Jesus," "Welcome home," or "Happy birthday," "Merry Christmas," it is entirely possible that he will appear to ignore your greetings altogether. Now, it's one of my favorite stories from the Judeo-Christian tradition. It appears in all 4 of the Gospels, captured with some variation by the different chroniclers, each writing from a different perspective to a different audience with a different purpose. The earliest account, of course, originating around 60 of the Common Era, the latter around the year 100. It's about 70 years after the crucifixion, you understand. And when I say it appears in all 4 of the Gospels, understand that this is not always the case. Only 2 writers offered the birth stories, for example. The writer of the book called Matthew records a Sermon on the Mount, while the writer of the book called Luke records a Sermon on the Plain, and so forth. So this story was arguably special. Special. Now, what we're told is that Jesus had been teaching about treasures and about seeds when he learned that John the Baptist, who was his earthly cousin, by the way, had been executed. And it was at this point that he retreated, understandably so, to a quiet place. And although he presumably wanted some degree of privacy, when the crowds followed him, he didn't send them away, but he went ashore and he touched and he connected and he blessed and he healed. And even as night fell, he perpetuated the togetherness by saying to the disciples, they don't have to go away. Give them something to eat. So the setting is one of a staggering injustice. The setting is one of a crippling loss, and the setting is one of an apparent lack. For when he said they don't have to go away, give them something to eat, the they in question is thought to have numbered 5,000. It was a lot. So the setting is one of a staggering injustice, a crippling loss, profound need, and seeming limitation. And I find myself thinking, this is a story for all people who might have experienced moments of injustice, loss, lack, or limitation. I won't ask for a show of hands. In other words, I might go so far as to say that this is a story for all people, period. Because moments of injustice, loss, lack, or limitation seem to be inherent in what it means to have a human incarnation, inherent in what it means to have taken this fleeting foray as a sensory being into a dualistic world. And in the most climactic moment of this tale, Jesus took what he had. He took what he had. Some bread, and some fish, and he looked to the faces of the 5,000, and he said, dang God, why you have to disrespect me this way? No. Thank you for paying attention. Oh, dear God, why do bad things happen to good people? Can anybody relate to that one? Here I am, traveling from village to village on foot, uphill both ways, making the world a better place, and you send me 5,000 to feed. Jesus didn't say those things. If you are like me, perhaps you can relate, however, to the temptation to say such things. Dang, God, why do you have to disrespect me like this? Of course, that's not how our story goes. In the most climactic moment of the tale, Jesus took what he had, which was some bread and some fish, and he looked up. He took what he had, and he looked up, and he gave thanks. Now, to look to the possibility that 5,000 people made a meal from some bread and some fish a couple thousand years ago is to so distance ourselves from the truths of this story that it becomes of little relevance to us whatsoever. But to look to the possibility that no matter what's up in life, we all have to start where we are. That if we're in the throes of an injustice, that's where we start. If we're in the discomforts of a loss, well, that's where we start. If we're in the experience of an insufficiency or a lack, well, that's where we start. If we find ourselves against the shadows of a limitation, well, that's where we start. To look to the possibility that no matter what's up in life, we have to start where we are, and that we too can look up. We too can look beyond the appearance of bread and fish and hungry faces and open our hearts to the realization of God is enoughness. And we can do this through the spiritual practice of gratitude. To do this is to so insert ourselves into the truths of this story that we too might reveal something seemingly miraculous at the end of our days. For from that spiritual practice of gratitude, the disciples began to pass the food. Now, whether each added to the baskets a share of olives or raisins from his own pocket, we don't know that. But from that spiritual practice of gratitude, the disciples began to pass the food from the uncommon truth of God is enoughness for all of us. And that same day that started with staggering injustice, crippling loss, apparent lack, and seeming limitation, left all satisfied in the end. Left all with plenty to spare. Now that's a story. Unity tradition has addressed this spiritual practice of gratitude many times with words, and I quote, praise and thanksgiving have within them quickening spiritual power. Or how about this one? Thanksgiving may be likened to the rain that falls upon the ready soil, refreshing vegetation and increasing the productiveness of the soil. Heaven and earth listen and respond to the soul that is quickened into praise and thanksgiving. It's the great teacher and minister Eric Butterworth who said it this way: your thanksgiving is more than a response to what is happening around you or to you. Thank you, Reverend Nina Clark. It is a celebration of the truth. A grateful heart will always attract to itself in one way or another, through human hands or through wonder-working ways, the great things needed. Martha Smock, another voice offering it this way: do not wait to give thanks until every prayer is answered. Do not wait to give thanks until things are perfect. Give thanks when you are where you are, in the present set of circumstances, in the conditions in which you find yourself. Give thanks for life. Give thanks for this day at hand. Give thanks for the opportunities to grow and to learn. Unity in Lynnwood has produced for you a 40 days of gratitude journal. If you'd like to experiment with just such a practice, it is hard to believe today, October 18th, is indeed some 40 days before Thanksgiving 2020. And I know I can hear you thinking it was just yesterday that we were enjoying those President's Day sales. And the day before that we were watching that giant ball descend upon Times Square, but it is nonetheless true. The cover offers, and I quote, gratitude isn't a human emotion that happens to you when life goes as you have dictated that it should. Gratitude is a powerful, proactive power which expands human consciousness into the deepest reaches of divine potentiality. I wonder who wrote that. click or call, please include your mailing address. The daily gratitude quotes will also be included on social media. Be sure you are following us on Facebook or Twitter. You'll have your book before next Sunday. The problem with the human incarnation is that it's believable, you see. What our ears hear is believable. What our noses smell is believable. What our fingers touch is believable. And yes, what our eyes see is believable, especially what our eyes see is believable. And indeed, it's not that what our senses perceive is untrue. It's just that what our senses perceive isn't the only truth, much less the highest truth of God is enoughness in you. I fashioned something of a prayer that we might use for a time of reflection today. If you're comfortable doing so, then take a deep breath and close those outer eyes. My words are as follows. Dear God, I give thanks. Dear God, I give thanks in every apparent ending, knowing that from your noble perspective, such merely disguises a new beginning. I give thanks in every apparent discord, knowing that in your perfect balance, such simply veneers a new harmony. I give thanks in every seeming failure, knowing that in your grand equity, such can only mask a new triumph. Dear God, I give thanks. Dear God, I give thanks even in my shortcomings, for it is through these shortcomings that something of your strength must appear. I give thanks even in my mistakes. For it is through these mistakes that something of your wisdom must arise. I give thanks. I give thanks even in my challenges, for it's through these challenges that something of your faith must emerge. Dear God, I give thanks, even in that which I don't understand. I give thanks even in that which is incomplete. I give thanks even in that which is unreconciled, knowing that each ultimately returns me to you as the only source of lasting satisfaction. Dear God, I give thanks. I give thanks in the very fullness of the human experience, such as it is and such as it is not, knowing that each moment, that each encounter, that each juncture is a window through which your light might somehow shine. Dear God, I give thanks.
when darkness seems to win. Where are you now when the world is crumbling? Oh, I hear you say, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, where are you now when all I feel is doubt? Oh, where are you now when I can't figure it out? Oh, I hear you say, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, you're not threatened by the war, you're not shaken by the storm. I know you're in control. Even in our suffering, even when it can't be seen, I know you're in control. Oh, I hear you say, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for beautiful music. Thank you for an inspiring message. My heart is filled with gratitude. This part of the service that we refer to as offertory is really a time for us to intentionally stand in the flow of substance. It is a time for intentional practice. This is an intentional opportunity to know, along with your spiritual community and with every last thread of your thought, with all of your power, with all of your intention, with all of your being, that by virtue of your inability to be separate from the one substance, that you are rich abundance itself. You are life in abundance, wisdom in abundance, power in abundance, love in abundance. Indeed, all that God is, you are. In abundance, richly endowed simply by virtue of your inability to be separate. You only need know it, and know it powerfully, and accept it with your full self. In this time of virtual community, let us join our hearts and minds together and bless our individual offerings wherever we might be, knowing that we are one. And then, while Matthew unfolds us with his beautiful voice, you will have time to access the text to give online or the other online donation options that will be posted for you in the Facebook chat box. So if you would, go ahead and take your offering, and if it's a check, you can hold it in your hand. Or if you plan to tithe online or by text, go ahead and hold that intention in your mind's eye, knowing that both, whether paper or the mental intention, both are simply symbols of abundance. And know with me and with your community that through the sharing of your abundance of love, of wisdom, of life, of plenty itself, you are, and thus we are, a blessing in this world.
All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love, in sweet surrender, in sweet surrender. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love, in sweet surrender, in sweet surrender.
Scotty Jonesy, Dr. Jennifer Lovejoy, Matthew Wilson, Reverend Nina Clark. Woo. Open your hearts to a moment of gratitude for those who are bringing you these sounds and bringing you these images. They include Nathan, Amelia, Cameron, Nadine. Oh, what a crew. We ask that you register for all events, either by visiting the website or by clicking on a link provided. We cannot accommodate drop-ins for all obvious reasons. Thank you for your understanding. Annual membership meeting today, 12:30 or so. Whew. If you are an active eligible member of Unity in Lynnwood, you know who you are. We ask, and if you've registered for today's event, we ask that you disable your pop-up blocker prior to joining that meeting. The doors will open at 12 o'clock. We also ask that if you are in a household with more than one member, that each of you signs on with a different device. One computer, one phone, two phones, you understand. We will elect 2 new trustees on behalf of your nominating committee, chaired by Donna DiFrancesco. We are proud to introduce you in new ways to Dr. Jennifer Lovejoy and to Tim Vokes, both of whom will be with us. Join Karen Breen James. She's one of our licensed Unity teachers, 7 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, October 28th, to talk about Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore's loving and gentle way in the healing of thought and body prosperity, the cultivation of overall well-being. If you'd like more information about that, write small groups at unityinlynnwood.org. Reverend Nina Clark would be happy to send you the details. The food giving event, fear of running out. It is common enough that we have an acronym, FORO, fear of running out. Oh, let us help. Don't do that. Don't do that. Simply drive into the parking lot on the 25th of October, anytime after 1 o'clock p.m. You will follow the one-way arrows, pull to the front of the building. You will exit your vehicle, where you will be greeted with the amazing presence of some of our youth and family ministries members. You will grab a bag of groceries, along with a pumpkin that's been carved just for you. Re-enter your vehicle, honk, wave, and drive off. If you know someone else who would benefit from such a generous blessing, please invite them as well. Or please grab a bag on their behalf. This is available to all. Grounds team lead, Tim Boakes. He's hosting a grounds cleanup on Halloween. I'll tell you to wear your masks. Thank you. I'm here all morning. He will host a grounds cleanup from 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We are seeking 10 souls with rakes and shovels to join. Always, please register. There is a registration form on the website. Thank you in advance for considering this gift of hand and heart. Let's close the outer eyes. Let's close with a little spiritual practice. It goes something like this. Let us call to mind. Let's call to mind an image of that which encourages an experience of gratitude. Let's call to mind an image of a person or a place, a circumstance, a memory, a dream, a vision. Call to mind an image of that which encourages a sense of gratitude. And just hold it there. Just hold it. Return to it if need be. Allowing that sensation of gratitude simply to have its way with you for a few minutes. If you're like me, this slows me. It uncurls and unfurls the very tissues of my physicality. It brings me into a heightened awareness of this now moment. If you're like me, this leaves you available in a new way. In biblical times, the heart of us would have been thought to have a wisdom of its own. And that wisdom is maximized in a heart that can remember gratitude. We close our time together as we always do with sung words of blessing, with sung words of farewell.
May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure